answers to awkward questions with Lucy Maskell. Sponsored by Urban Saints.
That's right, you're listening to Premier Gospel Music for Life, and I hope you're having a great afternoon and a great Mother's Day if you're a mum listening in. So this is Awkward, the show that gives honest answers to awkward questions. It's great to have you listening. If you're a new listener, welcome, and if you are a returning listener, thank you very much for staying with us. Can't believe the show's been on air for like 2 months now. Crazy. Anyway, today's show is called Gangster Trippin. Today we're talking about gangs, guns, God, and how as youth workers and parents we can chat to young people who are going through this, especially if they are in our churches. So please welcome to the studio Isaac. Hello, Isaac.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. What are you doing in the studio? Like, why are you here?
I don't even know. Like, I was looking for someone. No, I'm joking. No, I just came to talk about gangs, God, and all the good stuff in between.
Brilliant. So Isaac, for people who do not know who you are, who are you?
Well, my name's Ike Humble. I'm a youth pastor, and I work in the Winstanley estate in Clapham Junction. So working with young people, it's a deprived area, where the crime is a bit higher than you want it to be. And just working with young people, trying to doing workshops, running a youth club, and just trying to share the love of Jesus.
Brilliant. Yeah. So Isaac, I think a lot of people know you as Ike Humble, but they might also know you for the music scene. I heard you're in a band called New Direction Crew, is that right?
Yeah, I rap too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
so
you never know.
Crew.
You might be freestyling. Sit down, joking. That's Hip Hop Sessions on Wednesday night. Shout out to Carl.
Yeah, what's up, Carl?
Yeah, what's up? Anyway, Isaac, tell me more about youth work. Like, how did you get into it?
Well, how did I start?
Yeah.
So, I started youth work when I was 20. Now I'm old, 29. So old. That's
wow, you need a walking stick.
I know, and I don't even look old. That just makes it bad. No, when I became a Christian, so I was just in church, like helping out in it.
Yeah.
And then one of the elders said to me, like, "What do you want to do with your life, innit?"
Wow.
Like, I said, "I don't know," because I hadn't been doing. I was at uni at the time studying politics because I wanted to be a politician because I like to argue. But when I started the degree, I changed my mind. So I was just kind of just living life, just there, innit?
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, let's pray about it. Let's just pray and see." So once we prayed about it, then later on after that, I just had a desire to want to help young people because I just thought young people didn't have a voice. Like adults had a lot of advice, but it wasn't dialogue.
You want to be a voice to the voiceless.
Yeah. And just provide for them a listening ear.
Yeah, definitely.
Listening ear. So I wanted to bridge the gap between young people and adults.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I started.
Okay, and then what happened after that? So obviously you studied politics, you completed a degree, and you went to youth work. Where did you start? Like, because you at the church that you were at before? Yeah,
I was in Trinity Baptist Church. Shout out Trinity Baptist Church, West Norwood, Thornlow Road. And so that's where I started, like, just helping out in the youth department.
Yeah.
I was helping out at the youth department and started doing Sunday school. So so on Sundays, I had a little Sunday school class, and I thought, let me ask young people, what do they want to learn about?
Yeah.
Exactly. Before we had that, had things that we taught them before. Let me find out what you guys want to, learn about as well, so that it's much more engaging for you. And so so then things came out like forgiveness, dealing with parents, peer pressure.
That's deep.
And so it started incorporating those type of topics into the Sunday school sessions, and it really grew, and it was really good. So after like a couple of years later, 24, our youth pastor left. And then I became I became in charge of the youth department.
Okay.
At 24, which was a lot of pressure at the time. Yeah, it was such a rocky road, but God was good. So taking over the youth department from then.
Wow.
And did that for a year. But so in total, I was doing youth work for 5 years, and 1 year as the head of the department.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You got thrown into the deep end then, really. You I've studied politics, but now I'm going to be a youth worker and go with deep end. Wow. Yeah. I think that's awesome what you do. So today we're going to talk about some stories about young people who are in a really troubled situations, like you said, talking about peer pressure and gangs. Yeah. So from your experience now, working with young people, what is your experience of gangs?
Well, one of the experiences, because a lot of the young people like I work with, the majority of them are not actively in gangs, but we've had a situation where we had a break-in and a robbery, and the people who did it were part of our youth club, and they said they were threatened by a gang.
Wow.
To break in and steal for them. So take the stuff and then there's a square.
Okay. And
leave it in a square. So that was like one of the main experiences with, yeah. So we had our PlayStation and TV.
Oh no!
Stolen, which was, and that was the third time we had a break-in because Yeah.
Third time.
Yeah.
So did you like want to get, I don't know, bodyguards or something for the church? Or just like, this is not okay. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
it was. I mean, it was just crazy because the first time we had a break in and it was like the tuck shop money got stolen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like smashed. And then second time, it was a group of kids because someone walked in on them smashing in it. And then this time was the actual proper like TV,
Yeah.
PlayStation, games, gone. Yeah, and so so no. But when we found out people who did it, they said they were coerced by the local gang.
So someone made me do it. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And like your reaction as a youth worker, because obviously you'll be professional, but you've also got to be very, straight there. Were you very angry with them? How did you deal with that?
See, it was difficult because one of the people, I just didn't believe their story.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, for me, it was like, yeah, I believe that you were, like, I believe that there was coercion, yes. But I believe you particularly, were involved with the gang. Like, they didn't coerce you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the other two was like, one of them was this complete out of character.
Yeah.
It was like, it was like a blip. And it was just really trying to disciple them. So we set up, a process of discipleship, working much closer with them.
Brilliant. So even these guys had like done this. You're like, you know what, we want to, bring you in church and just really disciple you. That's awesome.
Still working with them right now. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
what was their reaction? Were they a bit like, I'm okay, mate? Or were they like, no, that sounds awesome?
Yeah, no, they were up for it. I mean, the one who I thought was really involved, went AWOL. He went AWOL. But the other two, because I never want someone's last thing to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I always want to give people a chance to redeem themselves because
I think that's part of the gospel, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you want second chance, not like, oh, one strike you're out. It's like God's like, no, I want you back. You know, time again.
Yeah. So that was the So that's they're there. They're still there. Have a great relationship with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're involved in the youth stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
Wow. Could you tell us like one story then of maybe? I mean, you can't mention names, but could you mention a story of one person or several people who've really changed in some way?
Yeah. I mean, because like now, like our football sessions, because we do football on Thursdays, and like now I go there to supervise, and there's a few of our young people who run the sessions.
Okay.
Like from beginning to the end, set out the teams, set out the rules. And because we have a God slot where we do a talk in the middle.
Awesome.
And they do that as well now.
Wow,
So
no way.
Yeah.
So from robbery to doing God slot.
Yeah, but it wasn't
That's
those.
incredible.
But they weren't the ones who robbed. But they were still. Because when it first started, it was like it was a thing of where it's your youth club, innit? Like we come to play.
Yeah.
But now there's a real sense of ownership.
Yeah, which is what young people like really want at the end of the day. They don't want to just be passive, consumer. You want to actually get involved. Yeah.
So but those three particularly, they're amazing.
Awesome.
Like I don't want to shout their name. I don't want them to get big headed.
If you're listening, and that's you, tweet me, Facebook me, text me. I'll let you know the details.
Yeah, no, they're amazing.
Isaac, I'm really glad that you're in the studio. Yeah. One, because you're an awesome artist and you direct and crew, but also with the experience of young people, I think you've got a lot of wisdom to share. So would you be able to share with the people more about not only your daily routine, but also maybe how as youth workers, as parents, we can chat to young people who are going through some kind of peer pressure, such as gangs? Like, what do you think triggers it? Because I think it's like, is there something to do with parenting? You know?
I think, and what triggers a person joining
joining a gang, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a whole host of reasons, like from peer pressure, wanting respect, wanting to gain friendship, for status. But I think parenting plays a huge role. I think parenting plays a huge role in that, as in parents, because I think you can be either a passive parent or you can be an active parent.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So passive as in I feed them, I clothe them, and I tell them don't do bad stuff.
Yeah.
Understand? And I think active as in not just feeding and clothing, but you are actively involved in their life.
You're listening to them. You're encouraging them.
That's it. And you know who their friends are. You know their friends' families. So I think because friendships are a big part of gangs. I don't think a lot of the time a young person thinks, okay, let me start a gang, or where is a gang I can join? It's normally friends, more friends. And, there's a group of friends who get up to no good, and then it's a different connection of people. But I think if parents become active in their children's lives, have honest communication with their children.
Yeah.
Understand? And the communication where it's not just telling them what to do, but you're also listening and giving them a chance to, to figure out stuff for themselves. Understand? But be active in your children's lives. I think that's crucial.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely being active in your children's life, being active in their school life as well. Because a lot of the kids who are in gangs are underachieving in school as well.
Yeah, like they come home and they say, "Oh, we don't have any homework," but actually they have a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's being involved in their life in a holistic way. So not just don't go gangs, but being involved in their school life, in their social life, in their life completely. I think that's one of the major ways parents can actively, and I think with that approach, it's not just about them not being a gang; it's about helping them to be a complete person.
Wow. So do you mean in the sense of not just like, oh yeah, let's feed and clothe, but really get involved in their emotional upbringing and maybe the spiritual walk as well?
Yeah. It's just raising your children.
Basically, just loving looking after them.
Yeah, because even if a child isn't in the gang, they still need a parent who is actively involved in their life to help them be the best person they can be.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
I mean, from your experience, and also maybe looking at the media and stuff like that, is there, would you say a certain kind of family background that like gangs come from? Because, for example, when I like watch like TV shows, for example, which have gangs in them, obviously they're fictional, a lot of them are stereotyped. They're like, oh, this guy was brought up in a council estate and he doesn't have a dad, and he's into dealing weed, etc. And that's how it started. But I think also that's a bit stereotyped. Like, what's your view on that?
Yeah, I find so. I think a lot of the time it's more location.
Okay.
So
where you're born and where you brought up.
Yeah. And so a lot of times it's more a particular area than necessarily a single parent home.
Okay.
I mean, I think those factors play a role, but a lot of times, where you grew up. I think if you grew up in Chelsea,
yeah,
somewhere like that where it's a nice area, you're less likely. It's not foolproof, but you're less likely to be involved in a gang. Whereas if it's a deprived area, you could have both parents living with you, but the influences and the things you see
are very different
than if you live in Chelsea or Dulwich per se. So I think and growing up, I had friends who were in single parent homes who wasn't in the gang, and I knew people who were in well off homes. Parents are well off, like you live in a big house, but you want to be in the gang, like
I mean, what compels young people to do that? Like you said, if you're from, let's say you grew up in Kensington in London, and you actually not want to be a gang, like what is that? It's not parents, or maybe it is parenting, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a whole. I think the mistake that happens a lot of the time is looking for that one reason.
Okay, like an excuse.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever one reason. I think there's a whole myriad of stuff which can draw someone into a gang. And I think, and also at the end of it, we can't underestimate the person making the choice.
Yes, it's not like, oh wow, I just ended up being in this gang. Where am I? It's like, you chose to do this.
The person's making a choice as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing just a little bit about yourself and your work with gangs. We're going to play a few songs, but in the meantime, if you're listening and you really want to get in touch, please get in touch with me. If you've got any questions for Isaac, maybe you are yourself in a gang, maybe you're a youth worker, a parent who has people in your church who are involved with gangs, or maybe you just want to, do a bit of a shout out, just let me know. Here's how you can get in touch.
Call 020 7316 0101. Text gospel to 66777 or tweet at Premier Gospel.
That's right. That's how you can get in touch with me. That's Lucy on Premier Gospel Music for Life. This is Awkward, the show that gives honest answers to very awkward questions. Now, this week, I am delighted to be joined in the studio by Ike Humble. What's up, Ike?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about gangs today. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really
brilliant.
Good. And humble.
And humble, yeah. Well, humble people say they're humble, don't they?
Obviously.
Anyway, I was going to say, you are in the show today to talk to me about your youth work involved with young people who are in gangs, but also maybe just come from troubled backgrounds. Now, I want to find out more about you. So you said to me off air that you don't, well, obviously, you're not involved in a gang. That'd be a bit awkward. But you're, you know what I mean? But you didn't grow up in gangs, but you had friends who were in gangs. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, and more about my upbringing. Well, in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised on a playground where I spent most of my days.
Chilling out, maxing.
Relaxing, shooting some beat balls.
Outside,
at school. Yeah. And then a couple of guys.
Were up to no good.
Yeah, they started
making trouble in my neighbourhood.
I got one little fight.
My mum got scared.
And they said,
with your auntie and uncle in Croydon.
Croydon, yeah. In Croydon. Anyway, so what actually happened?
No, so well, growing up, like I had friends who were in gangs. I had a friend who started a gang, but me and my close friends, held no appeal. We were just at home playing FIFA. No, we hated FIFA. Playing Pro Evo, It was ISS back then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was ISS. It was PlayStation 1 time, so it was ISS.
old school.
On N64. ISS. And
GTA as well.
GTA. Yeah,
Yeah.
what we played GTA. They outside doing GTA. that was the type of stuff they were on. But yeah. So my closest friends, we were just held no appeal when it wasn't interested. But we had one friend, like he was really on it. He was really about that life. And they were just on road, robbing people, punching people up, and that was just normal. And because my close friend, he lived in a foster home, and so one of the boys who was on road life, he was in a foster home as well. But yeah, and had a lot of friends who were that way, not going to school, skipping school, getting in trouble. But for us, I mean, we had the stories and it was interesting. We laughed, it was entertaining. But as far as being out. Walking on the road for no reason.
You didn't do that, no.
I'd rather play GTA.
Yeah, so you'd rather play GTA than actually do it, which is fair enough. Yeah, anyway, so that was a bit of your background. So you had, good upbringing. So when you had friends who were maybe doing things you didn't agree with, did you kind of just, turn a blind eye, or did you go, look, this isn't okay?
Oh, no. At that time, when you were young, innit?
Yeah.
I don't think I even disagreed. I just wasn't interested in being a part of.
Fair enough.
So at that time, I was too young and too silly to even have a contrary view. All I knew was it wasn't for me, but I was like, do you in it?
Yeah.
Stand and do. Yeah, I don't think they were even looking for advice.
I'm just doing me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about this life. But yeah, so at that time I was just too young. Yeah. And I guess also, even though you're not involved, you want to fit in a little bit by acting like it's okay.
Yeah.
So
you got again that kind of, I'm trying to be cool.
Yeah. So you're laughing and you're acting, so you're giving approval, like, just by your reaction to their stories. Understand? So yeah. So no one was be like, no, don't do that. That's wrong. And was like, ha ha ha. Yeah. Even though, yeah. So at that time, yeah. So even though you wasn't involved, you gave approval in a sense by your admiration of what was being done.
Brilliant. Yeah. So I was going to say also with your current situation now, because obviously you've grown up into a man now, and you're working, you're working with guys who are involved in gangs. Would you be able to tell me a story then, not just of the robbery? So before the break and before the songs we played, Ike was telling me about a robbery that happened at his church. What was it, 3 times?
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah. So it happened thrice.
Yeah. So once we found out who.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so it happened 3 times, and one time we found out who was actually involved in the thing.
And that's what happened. Yeah. So would you be able to tell me another story then of how you've seen, young people around South London get involved with gangs or maybe come out of it?
Well, I mean, there was one incident one time at youth club where some kid I've never seen before rocked up and started talking to another kid about, he said he owed him money. He said, okay, give me my money. And then they the kid looked scared, and they seemed to be like friends. They knew each other, but he seemed like, "Where's my money?" And I think it was £20. And then he must have followed him, took him around the corner, and I'm so whacking him like, "Where's he gone?" So then I go to follow them to find out. And also because he took a table tennis racket, because he was playing table tennis when he approached him. So he disappeared around the corner. And where I church is like there's lots of alleyways. It's like it's really hard. It's really easy to go missing.
Yeah.
Or if you're running away. There's so many alleyways.
Like a maze.
Yeah. So like you can lose someone real quickly. And so they went around the corner. And it was like dark. It was wintertime. It was dark, innit? So I went after them to see like what's going on in it, like, because you can't just come and take someone. And so I went, and I couldn't find them. I just couldn't find them. And then when I came back, some of my other youth workers who've lived in the area much longer, because I'd only lived there for even less than a year, and they were like, "You can't do that. You just can't. You could have got shot."
Wow.
It's like you just can't. And they were basically saying that's none of your business. And so like,
wow.
And I'm like, I can't leave him.
You feel responsible, don't you?
Yeah. And they understood that, but they were like, you could have got shot. Is that anything could have happened to you? Is that like he owed him money, and that boy seemed kind of aggressive. But yeah, so that was one experience where it was like, but I seen him after that. He was okay. But in that instance, like when you come youth club, you're my responsibility. I just can't let someone take you away. Like.
Absolutely. Did you find out then what happened next week? The week after.
Yeah, doing that week. He owed him money. Yeah, he owed him money. He seemed scared. And I mean, I've seen that way 1 or 2 more times. I don't know him. We have never had a conversation, but he seems like he's somebody in the area. He seems like he's respected. But yeah, I can't let a young person
definitely
just be taken.
What's your
I stand
advice
there.
then to like maybe people listening who have been in that situation where they see young people maybe doing a bit of dodgy deal? Like, do you go after them, like you said, while they're in the youth club, or is it again when they go out the building that's not your responsibility?
You see, I think it's one of those difficult ones where you need wisdom in it.
Yeah.
And you need wisdom in that instance. It's like,
Definitely.
I think there's no way to actually pre-plan. I think there's best practice. So in a sense, as in, what is the safest thing to do? So sometimes the safest thing to do is, let me stay with the kids who are here, because maybe me leaving means we're a man down.
Yeah.
And I think 25 kids, in this instance, are the priority over one kid who has chosen to walk away because he wasn't dragged, kicking and screaming, even though there was a bit of intimidation that took him there. I think there is the safeguarding issues you're thinking about. What's the safest thing to do? Sometimes you might just need to just call the police. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think safety is the primary concern in that instance. But I think
You got to protect yourself though as well, don't you? Like you said, you want to go out and get shocked or shanked or anything. Yeah.
And I have been followed home by a young person who wanted to do violence.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what? Leave that thought there because we're going to talk about that after a few songs and
Okay,
a break.
cool.
So, if you're listening, whether you're listening in London, you're listening up north, you're listening in Africa, you're listening in America, wherever you are, let me know where you're listening. Tweet me at Premier Gospel. If you've got any questions you'd like me to grill Ike on, whether it's about youth alert gangs, maybe even about Christianity, you know, because that's quite important. No, so this is a Christian show. Let me know what you think. Here is how you can get in touch. As a Christian youth worker, what makes you different?
I think as a Christian worker, you have all the tools available to any other youth worker, best practice, qualification, training, experience, but you also have the power of God. You have prayer, you have the power of prayer. And I think, the Bible says the prayer of the righteous man availeth much power, makes much power available, always powerful and effective.
Where's that in the Bible?
James 5:16.
Brilliant.
Like
Check
that,
it out, guys.
So James 5:16 says that. And I think, as Christians in general, we can't underestimate the power of prayer.
Absolutely.
Like it can reach much further than we can. It can travel faster than we can, and it can have a longer lasting impact than we can. And also because through what we're doing, we're trying to share God's love and essentially help people to come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. What we're doing has an eternal consequence.
Absolutely.
So it's not just benefit for this life, but also in the life to come. So I think as a Christian youth worker, that's what makes you different.
Okay.
Understand? Yeah.
So with the song I just played, actually, that was your request, wasn't it? You wanted to play a bit of Jahaziel, so I just played that. They don't know.
Heads up on iTunes.
Yeah. Anyway, shameless plug over. Jahaziel, like he says in that track, they don't know what we go through every day. We keep on dying, and I know that means inwardly you have to sacrifice yourself in order to see God's kingdom come on the outward. But from your experience, have you seen prayers being answered? Maybe you prayed for maybe years or a few months and you've seen God rework. Like, tell me more about that, your prayer life and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just generally praying for the young people that I work with, praying for the young people in the area, and just seeing how quickly God has grown the ministry. And it's not me, because I'm just not that good, but just how quickly God himself. Because I remember our first youth session, and I mean, numbers don't indicate anything, but I think anything that's healthy will grow. And our first youth session, I remember we had 4 kids.
Wow.
And I thought, whoa, 4, eh? And then before you knew it was 11, 15, 20 something. I remember the highest we've had at one particular session was 40. And it's just the numbers and just the lives, the changes that God has, brought about in the young people. Understand? It just,
For example?
why I just keep going back to is one of my most helpful, responsible young people, as our name dropped, like to Kyrie, and he's Muslim. And just his growth as a person, just his involvement, his commitment, his responsibility, him being there on time, coming to me and sharing ideas, that's God.
That is definitely God.
I'm not that persuasive, So it's just those type of things, just seeing God move. And I think what I always realize is every time there was about to be a big shift where God's about to do something, there was always some type of opposition, something to discourage you, something to make you want to quit.
Yeah.
Understand? So just before we started youth discussion where we look at the Bible and other issues. That's when a kid followed me home, threatening violence. Which is
you got to tell us about that story. But carry on.
It's just why am I doing this? Why do I do this? So you're always going to find that just before you make a significant turn with them, something comes to discourage you.
Some kind of annoying kind of nit prick, kind of a bit like someone trying to grab you from behind, isn't it?
Yeah, to trip you up. And I think, but just the changes God has brought about and the different people he's brought in, the different young people, and how some of them are now helpers, you know, how they're involved, and it's just for me, that's as God. That's answer to prayer.
Amen.
And also in the quick time that it's happened as well.
Okay,
It's
so
for me,
like you've been there for a few years now, haven't you?
No, just over a year.
Oh, sorry, over a year. Wow. Sorry, youth work you've been doing years.
Youth work
but-
like 8 years,
Yeah.
9 years, but here just
That's
over a
incredible.
year. And even like recently, God has opened the door to for us to do schools work, you know, to help
the
out in
local schools and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like just different things, which is like, you know, God is just opening doors.
Wow.
So,
Is that to do like assemblies or just to do like workshops?
No, just like to support in
Mentoring?
classrooms, do one-to-one and mentoring.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so like that's for me is yeah, and also just the volunteers that God has brought as
Yeah.
well. Because I remember I always think something is really healthy when it can function without you. And I remember like talking to my friend, I'm thinking I wanted to get to a place where I can take a holiday and know that's still going to run. And he's like, you know, you're looking at 2 or 3 years for that. Less than a year, I took 2 weeks off and it was still running because God had brought volunteers who were passionate, who were competent.
Shout out to all the volunteers, by the
for real,
way.
yeah. Shout out to all the volunteers that give up their time for free because they care about the kids. So no, God is moving mountains.
That is
God is definitely
amazing.
moving
Well,
mountains in
praise
that area,
God
yeah.
for that growth and for, you know, bringing young people,
Yeah.
to them to grow towards God.
Yeah.
So you mentioned just a bit then about a young person following you home.
Yeah.
Like, you know, kind of like wanting to kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
see where I live,
stalk you.
see where I live so that he can bring some beef later on, which was crazy to me because
Tell a story from the beginning. What was it doing, like Friday Night Youth Club, and then suddenly it
No,
happened?
it was Wednesday youth discussion.
Okay.
So where we look at a topic and look at what the Bible says about it.
Yeah.
And so he was just being disruptive in this. I said, go home. And then he wouldn't go home. He was loitering outside. So I'm like, mate, just go home, innit? Like, and then he's like, no, I'm going to throw fireworks in your face. And the thing is, before, during football sessions, we had someone light fireworks at us. No one got hurt, but yeah, that's when I first got there.
Wow, what an amazing introduction. Here's some fireworks in your face.
Yeah.
Woo!
And then so he threatened fireworks. I'm like, mate, come on, you're having a laugh. So after youth club, I'm walking home, and then I see there's a group of kids behind me. Okay, so I take it. I said, where are you going? Because we're going to the shop. I go, okay. So I take, a right, and I'm going, and the shop is that way, and they're still behind me. I'm like, why are you still behind me?
Oh no! So you knew you were being followed.
Yeah, and then I lost my temper. Like, I'm like, you need to stop following me. Or, like, we're gonna have problems. And then, so it just in a long and short of it, I had to walk past my house. And because I live with people as well, and that made me really angry. And so, but then, so he was banned. A few days later, his parent came to apologize, and that's the first time anyone had ever met his parent.
Yeah.
So, which was once again, what the devil meant for evil, God turned it to good. So that gave us
Amen.
a connection to his parent, which we now have a great relationship with his parent.
We've got that accountability now.
Yeah, which we'd never had before. He even gave me the wrong surname. So through that incident, we found out that he gave
Oh wow.
he gave the right address, but the wrong surname and stuff. And people had always had the wrong surname because he was there before I came.
Okay.
And so just through that bad situation, the good that came out of it is we now have a good relationship with the parent.
That's brilliant.
And stuff. And he's changed. I'm saying
That's not a prayer, isn't it?
yeah, all these things. That's what I always think. One thing I think is as a youth worker, you just have to be prayerful, and you can't let like bad situations discourage you to the point of quitting.
Definitely.
You understand? I think you just have to just stay prayerful. I think you want to put as much work, as much effort and time into prayer as you do into planning.
Yes. So prayer is the greater work, isn't it? A lot of people think, oh, prayer is something you just do on the side, 15 minutes. But actually, if you don't pray, are you covered spiritually?
Yeah. And I think as a Christian, because you're going out there not just for their social well-being, but for their spiritual and eternal well-being, there is a spiritual conflict that comes with it.
Exactly. There's a spiritual realm. Like a lot of people, would say, oh, you do youth work, it's just a physical thing, just emotional, mental thing. But actually, there is a spiritual world, isn't there? Like the Matrix, without Neo. But I think I agree with you. You really need to pray. So do you have, like you said, you have a massive volunteer kind of, influx, which is great. Do you have, again, like mentors and other youth workers you kind of feedback on to help support you?
Yeah, so I've got two mentors. I've got a mentor from my old church.
Brilliant.
And then my other mentor is Jahazo.
Brilliant. Shout out to Jahazo.
Yeah, shout out to Jahazo. What's up, Jahazo? And Elder Terry is my other mentor.
Shout out to Terry.
Yeah, and also and one thing I've always seen Jahazo do, which like I try to model, is like his discipleship isn't just telling you, but it's like it's life on life. He opens up his life.
Yeah.
So he doesn't just give you some time an hour here, an hour there, but he invites you into his life. So, you know, you see how he speaks to his wife. You see how he just carries himself in everyday life. Understand? And it's through that you learn, you know what I'm saying, just by watching, by seeing. And so for me, like, that's been one of the, Jahaz's a great guy, but one of the things that's always struck me is how well he speaks to his wife.
That's awesome.
You know, that's always stood out to me. Understand?
Shout out to Nadine.
Always stood out to me. Yeah, shout out to Nadine. And so, yeah. So, yes, and I think it's important to have people to have mentors. I remember my old pastor used to say, you always want to have people who are peers or like on your level, people who are, but like, not people who you're mentoring,
yes,
and people who are above you who can mentor you.
Definitely. So it's a holistic picture. It's a whole picture. Yes. Yeah. And from your experience then, I'm assuming from what you've told me, you're mentoring a lot of guys at the moment. As someone who's working with young guys who have a lot of different issues, such as, like you said, getting into fights or maybe dealing things, what is your top advice, especially as a Christian youth worker, to people working with these guys?
I think the top advice I would say is you have to look at the long-term picture, because nothing is overnight. Like, it's a slow burn
process.
It's a slow burn, and I think you have to always be thinking, I'm here for the long run. I'm saying, like, I'm here for the long run, and you have to be someone that is open to giving them second chances. You know, like,
that's grace, that's forgiveness, it's the gospel. You don't just go, oh well, you're out, one strike. You're like, God gives you a second chance. I'm going to give you a second chance. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you for that, Isaac. Again, we're going to play a few songs, but if you have any questions you'd like me to grill Ike on, then go on Twitter, tweet me at Premier Gospel, twitter.com/Premier Gospel. If you're on Facebook, like the page, which is facebook.com/Premier Gospel. I've put a lot of posts out there asking you a few questions, so if you've got a comment, I'll read it out. And also, if you are on text, maybe you don't have social media, maybe you just, old school phone, then you can text me a message. If you start the word gospel, GOSPEL, then your message to 66777. That's your message with the first word gospel to 66777. In the meantime, here is some POD. Such a G.
And Billy Graham said, if you want to be successful in ministry, the 3 G's to avoid, as in pursuing, is girls, gold, and glory. The 3 G's.
Oh, deep.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so as in, don't chase money.
Okay.
Don't chase glory, like the glory belongs to God. And don't chase girls. Just be a one-woman man with a wife, and you're good.
Awesome. Amen. So back to the question.
3 G's,
that's not your daily routine. What do you do on your daily routine of like engaging young people?
Apart from like so our normal things we have 4 things we have. So we have a youth club, because I was very strategic when I came in it. So a youth club is, we have a Friday night youth club, which is just a safe place for kids to get to know each other, play pool, play PlayStation, FIFA, table tennis, and football, just to make friends, get to know each other, just a safe place. That's all it is, and then we just get to know them, and that's the main thing. And then we have football on Thursdays, which is more salty. So like we have like a match, and the match will have like some rules which are to do with the theme. So the theme might be sharing or forgiveness, and the game would be in a way which contributes to that. So something like sharing, everyone has to touch the ball before you score. And then at halftime we give a talk on what is sharing, what does Jesus think about sharing, in what ways do you share in football, in what ways do you share in life, so that where it's cross-cultural in that way. And then we have our youth discussion, where we discuss stuff and look at what the Bible says. And we have Sunday school on Sundays.
Brilliant. So you had that today, I'm assuming. You had that today.
See, Sunday school was today.
Yeah.
So it was. So those are the things, the 4 things we do in there. And I think just in terms of engaging young people, you always want to do stuff. I guess for me, you start where they're at. You know what I'm saying? You start where they're at. So
you can't expect them to come to where you are if they haven't been there yet.
Yeah, so start where they're at. So something like football, they'll come to it. But when they come to football, make football salty.
Definitely.
So use football as a vehicle for the gospel. Understand? So, and I guess what you do in youth work will be in a large part determined by why you're doing the youth work.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, just to say, if you want to get in contact with me, I'll put the contact details out again, but I thought I'd just put it under bed there. Anyway, Isaac, do you have any special events as well? Like, you do your daily, from Monday to Sunday routine. Like, for example, when it's summer or maybe it's Christmas time. Like, do you put special events on for the young people?
Yeah, we have our God Loves Battersea.
God loves Battersea.
Yeah,
He
so that's
does.
like
Amen.
our whole church outreach. So yeah, so our God loves Battersea. So we have a Easter God loves Battersea, a summer God loves Battersea.
Oh, so that's coming up in Easter.
Yes.
So I don't know if you want to plug that, like what's going on.
Yeah, so God loves Battersea this Easter. We're going to be having just different outreach, like a kids club, because we have a children's pastor as well. So a kids club. It's going to be an Easter service, because it's on Easter weekend.
Okay.
So our God loves Battersea is on a Friday to the Sunday of Easter weekend.
Awesome.
And so yeah, and we have we're starting up a men's football.
Okay.
So because we have so much stuff. Because one area which has been hard to reach is men.
Yes.
Understand?
Men are hard to engage
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Is it passivity? Is it, or is it just generally
Just
not being
generally-
open?
Just generally, yeah, just generally doing their own thing. So we started like a men's football, which we'll be doing at God Loves Battersea, which is like for the 21 plus, because we've got so much stuff for youth, for children, for women, but nothing that
It engages guys. So carry on.
So football is one of the stuff. So yeah, so God Loves Battersea, we do it summer, Easter, and Christmas.
Brilliant.
That's our outreach to the whole community, and as a church, we see to be salty and be a helper in the community to serve it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Being that salt and light, like Matthew 5. Love it.
Yeah.
Don't keep it under a bowl.
Yeah.
And with your young people then, have you ever invited them to specific events that are maybe, specifically for outreach and sharing Jesus with people?
Yeah. I invited them to SO's concert, which was amazing.
Shout out to Sean.
SO Live was amazing. If you missed it, you missed out. But yeah, and they didn't come. And the thing is this, I bought the tickets, and they said they were going to come. I said, don't make me buy the tickets and you don't come, because we're going to have problems.
Oh.
And I said, I bought the tickets. I met them. I gave them the tickets. I'll see you in a couple of hours, boys. Yeah. And they didn't come. They gave me some lame excuse. But I forgive them.
I missed out.
Yeah,
I would want to go.
And so, yeah. But the concerts they've come to are the concerts that we've had. So last summer we had a concert where we had like JS, Faith Child, Ryan Carty come. Yeah, and it was packed out with kids from the local.
Oh, that's great.
Local kids there. Yeah, it was a really good time. And Husky, Husky.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were
Shout out,
just
Steve.
just declaring Jesus, doing
Yeah.
their great music. It was a fun time.
That's
It was a
so
really fun
good.
time,
It's so nice to have that community spirit as well, isn't it? Like you're engaging not just the young people but their families. Maybe
Yeah.
invite them around.
But I read a really good quote from Boost. You know Boost?
I not personally.
Okay, Boost on his Facebook, where he said, "I want to change the world, but I want to walk before I run. So I'll start first by changing my community."
Wow.
And that was powerful.
Say that quote again. Say that quote
Yeah,
again.
well done, Boost. Like, I want to change the world, but I want to walk before I run. So I'll start first by changing my community,
Yes.
which was powerful.
It's like starting like as a seed and then sprouting into a plant, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. It's like Jesus said, when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, Acts 1:8, you will feel the power to preach the gospel first here in Jerusalem,
Then to the ends of the earth. Great Commission, Matthew 28. Read it, people. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was a really cool quote, actually. You sent me, actually. I'm going to put up an article, by the way, on Fresh Thoughts. That's fresh-thoughts.co.uk. Youth Blogger Run in the week. Anyway, Ike's written something for me. I'll post it up. And one of the quotes, actually, put in this article, I love it. Anne Frank, actually, who wrote, "Parents can only give good advice or put them in the right paths, but the final forming of a person's character lies in their own hands." So we talked about this, didn't we, a few minutes ago, about how good parenting is really fundamental with young people, especially if they're kind of want to go into gangs and stuff. But yeah, tell me more about that quote, because, you love that.
Yeah, no, I love it, because I think the key thing is a person, like people, like we can do all we can. We pray for them, we guide, we advise, we give opportunity for growth. But like as Jahazo said in And They Don't Know, you can bring the donkey to the well, but you can't make it drink. And the person has to want to.
Exactly.
Understand? So it starts with they've got to want to lead the gang. They've got to want to change their life for the better. Understand? I think with all the resources we can pour into them, without them wanting it for themselves, it's not gonna happen for them.
It's praying for the Holy Spirit to give them that hunger, isn't it?
That's
Just
it.
to be like,
That's it.
I want this. This is a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
So we have been talking about, gangs and about God, but we've missed out on the guns bit. And obviously this show is Gangster Trippin, so we
That's
talk
it.
about all things.
All things.
All things are possible. So with weapons and things, have you ever had to, break up a fight with weapons, or weapon amnesty, or maybe you've had stories? What's your personal experience with weapons and things?
I mean, in terms of just like guns. My only personal experience of guns is that just hearing about people dying. Because I remember like last year, a young boy in the local area was shot, and he was shot and killed, and he was friends with some of my young people, and they were really affected by that. And just in terms, so those are the type of experiences in terms of guns. It's never been Like no one has ever pointed a gun at me by God's grace. Hope they never do. And with fights, the atmosphere that we created is not really conducive. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of the time, for me, I place safety above numbers.
Definitely.
So if you want to come to this youth club, if you want to be here, you have to behave in a particular way. You understand? And if you can't, if you feel that's too much for you, then don't come.
Yes.
You know, I'd rather have 10 kids who are safe and are playing well than 100 kids who are dangerous. You understand? So, or who are behaving dangerously and endangering others. And so for me, I think that's, once you set the standard that safety is important, you know, and it's about knowing you. So we nobody can't join unless we have their details, unless we have their parents' details. So we know you.
Yes.
You understand? And I think once you know we know you, that encourages you to behave in a particular way because...
Just like an example, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with weapons then, like what would, even though like you said you haven't had, you know, by God's grace, one-to-one, you know, confrontation, have you had any stories of people who've given up weapons because, you know, just because of what God's done?
Yeah, I mean, I've known young people who carry weapons for protection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they feel, and I actually remember the time when one of our free break-ins, one of our church members walked in on the kids breaking in, and one of them had a knife, like, because he chased them, isn't it?
Wow.
And he had a knife, so he had to just, mate, it's just let it go, innit? So
that's hard.
Those are that's been an instance where someone has had a knife and just had to just, you know, leave the situation. And I mean, Amnesty, I got an email because they wanted us to have a gun bin, like a weapons bin.
Oh, really? Wow. Is this the council or who's this? The police?
No, you know, that was the name, because they do like London.
Okay, sorry.
They do London. I can't remember the name, but obviously we can't, because right now our church building has been knocked down, it's being rebuilt, so we don't. So right now we're renting a space, so we don't have a.
You can't have like a gun bin. But you thought about it.
Yeah, but once we're up and running, we would have one in a heartbeat, because
Definitely.
the less weapons we want weapons off the street.
How do they work? Like, do you have a separate, I don't know, like a room, or are you there like a particular day and people go, okay, hand in something if you've got it?
No, it's
how
like a
work?
bin. It's like a bin outside.
Yeah.
Like it'll be on the side of the church on the road, so anyone can just, you know, just quietly. Anyone can quietly just.
Yeah, they don't have anyone watching them. Obviously,
No,
that's really good.
Yeah, anyone can just quietly just put their knife in there, put their gun in there, and just you know, scarper away, which is there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that,
thank you.
Ike. It's been really great hearing your experiences, especially of the community outreach. I think that's what it's about, isn't it? Like following Jesus as a youth worker is about looking outside your own little world and saying, hey, what's God doing in those people's lives and how can we join in?
Yeah.
So, we're going to wrap up after a few songs. But if you've got any questions, if you're listening, for Ike, whether it could be about his own experience of youth work, maybe you've got your own tips and comments, maybe something you agree or disagree with, let me know. You can tweet me at Premier Gospel, go on facebook.com/Premier Gospel, leave me a message, text me, you can put gospel first word plus your message to 66777, that's 66777. Make sure you put gospel first, or it could go to your neighbour, which could be quite awkward. Anyway, I'll be back after a few songs, but in the meantime, let me know what you think. It's been a great show having Ike with me. We played some good songs. Oh, yeah. And we've done a bit of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so that was quite fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun, wasn't it? So we are wrapping up the show. It's gone quick. Can you believe how quick it's gone?
Wow.
Yes. Okay, he's looking at the clock and he's just, in the air. Anyway, back to reality. Okay. Ike, what would you like to leave people with? Like, tell us more about, you know, the thoughts of the day. What would you like to talk about?
I think what I'd like to leave people with, as a youth worker, just generally in life, in Hebrews 6:12, it says, I'm just going to read it. I'm NIV in it. So Hebrews 6:12, it says, we do not want you to become lazy, but to imitate those who through faith and patience inherit what has been promised. So we do not want you to become lazy, but to imitate those who through faith and patience inherit what God has promised. And I think in a Christian walk, you're going to need, with your faith, you're going to need to be patient.
Yes. Fruit of the Spirit, right?
It's just a key element, because with whatever you're doing, it's rare that you're going to get success overnight. Mm-hmm. Understand? It's just through patiently waiting for God to do what he said he would do. And then Hebrews 10:23 says, you know, don't give up, basically, because he who promised is faithful. So as you patiently wait, you know that you're not waiting in vain, but you know you're waiting expectantly, because the person who promised is faithful. God who promised is faithful. God cannot lie. And I just want to encourage myself, us all as believers, no matter your field of work, whether you're working with young people, whether you work in a hospital, whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, wherever field, wherever God has placed you to be a light, and that you're patient. So with your faith, that you're patient, and that you know that you might not see the results overnight, but God is at work.
Amen.
And the wheels are certainly turning. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ike. It's been great having you on the show.
It's been great.
Any other shout outs or plugs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out New D.
New Direction
New
crew.
D. Shout out. What's up, Prince, Liz, Steve, GP. Shout out. And shout out to my young people. Shout out to my youth group. Shout out to my church, St. Peter's, Battersea.
Woo.
We have our service 10:30.
Do you have a cat and dog service?
Your Garden's Library? No.
What's
a cat and dog service?
A cat and dog that you just invite your pets and pray blessings. It happens. We'll do a show on it. Anyway, battersea. Carry on.
Yeah, I'd love to see that on YouTube. Cat and dog service. Yeah.
Okay. So any other shout outs, plugs?
No,
like
that's
your youth club?
Youth club Fridays, Your Garden's Library, 7 p.m. till 9. So that you're all welcome, young people, ages 11 to 18. Spread the word. Come have a good time. If you think you're bad at FIFA, come and get destroyed. It's all love.
Brilliant. Well, with that, I think we're going to finish the show. Thank you, Ike, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been a great show, and it's great having you on board to listen. So if you've enjoyed tonight's show, actually, tune in next Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. only on Premier Gospel. We're going to talk about that really scary thing called evangelism. I'm going to have a special guest in, talk about apologetics, talking about how to chat to young people about Jesus, but also maybe the challenges young people have in sharing their faith. You can bring that to the table. If you like the show, maybe you didn't, you can listen back to the podcast anytime, anywhere you are. Just go to mixcloud.com/awkward-show. That's mixcloud.com/awkward-show. Or you can go to premiergospel.org.uk/awkward. I've had lots of shows on Confessions of Pastor's Kid, which was last week. Brilliant episode. We've had stuff about sex, relationships, had stuff about online dating, sexuality, about female youth workers, women in leadership. So yeah, take a look. Anyway, this is Lucy Maskell signing off.